A week of Coca-Cola Intercall zonal finals brings us to Arima, an overcast sky, as Sour North, who missed out on this title by 1 goal against Trinity College East last year, are up against Arima North Secondary, who are continuing to build their program here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Looking at the weather that these young men will play under: 29 degrees Celsius, the temperature 77% humidity index, and wind speeds at 17 kilometers per hour. Here at the Larry Gomes Stadium, my name is Hans Devines. I'm joined by Brent Sancho, former national defender, and Enrique the Pundit Rupert, who has been following this league in an in-depth way. But before we go any further, gentlemen, let's look at how we got to this point.
Well, the road to the East Zone Finals, the Coca-Cola East Zone Finals for San Juan North Secondary, was a comprehensive one, a 5-goal victory over St. Augustine Secondary. And Arima North Secondary won 3 goals in against Trinity College East. The scoreline, gentlemen, says 3, but the game was a lot tighter than that, a tighter affair that Arima North eventually ran away with.
All right, well, guys, let's talk about Arima North Secondary. Enrique, tell us about this team.
Yeah, Arima North, they have not had the best intercall season so far, and it's not going to help that Darian Marfan, one of the best players, is out injured right now and he's on the bench. But they could have some consolidation in that Christian Gomez, one of the best defenders, is back into the team. And they'll be looking forward to getting to that win today and winning their first zonal title in 11 years.
Well, they're looking for it. Let's hear what their coach, Sheppy, had to say.
Coach, coming up against San Juan Secondary. This is the team that, coincidentally broke your winning streak. How does it feel today, a final, to get a one-up on them?
Firstly, it's a privilege to be in the finals. The boys worked hard this season. They put in the work that we asked them to put in the preseason, and we're here in the final, and we appreciate that. I was telling them the first order of business is to enjoy today. You're never guaranteed being in another final. Enjoy this one. Take advantage of the opportunity.
Anything different you think that you would do from the last time that you met them? Because the game was really close.
Try to score. I think the last time we played them, as I said then, Jerry set up Sour, and they played in a manner where they came to negate us and live off of our errors. They succeeded. I think in the second half of that game, we showed what we should have done from the start. We need to keep the tempo at a certain pace. We need to make someone feel uncomfortable.
What about the fitness in your team? It's a slightly bigger surface here at the Larry Gomes Stadium, How does that factor in?
The type of football that we try to play, this actually benefits us. We love the width. It is no secret. Jerry knows it. Jerry spoke about defending against us in wide areas. That's what we thrive on. So the size of the pitch, we played 2 games here, I believe, for the season. We drew 1 and we lost. Drew 1 and won 1. So, we like the surface.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Coach Wayne Shepherd of Arima North Secondary School. Let's talk about the opponent, Sour North Secondary School. Missed out on it by 1 goal last year, Brent.
Yeah, and of course this year they would want to go all the way. We know about Sweden, we know about Quash and what they're capable of doing. 2 top players within this squad, and I think probably one of the 2 better players in this league, generally speaking. But I think one of the things that concern me for them, despite that firepower that they have up front, they still have not scored the amount of goals that we would have expected with a team with that sort of quality. 37 goals in the league format, and of course coming into today and coming up against a team that is extremely rigid defensively, very well organized. They are going to have to find ways to break down this Arima North Secondary team, and I think the likes of Sween and Kwashi plays an integral part for that.
Well, the man that will need to build that strategy is Coach Jerry Moore. Here's what he told James Saunders pre this matchup.
Coach, it's a big occasion today, of course, your chance to get your first title, silverware this season. How does it feel?
I mean, it feels good to get to the finals, but that is not the objective. If you get to a final, then you want to win the finals. I think Arima North is a well-coached team. They are one of the few teams that played inverted wing-backs, and sometimes it could pose that challenge, but I think if we defend the wide area as well, we have a good chance.
Arima North has been very difficult to beat this season. You faced them earlier in the season as well. What do you think the team will be doing differently this time around?
We don't have to do much different. I think we have a philosophy, and at this level, everybody don't know what each other are going to do. But basically, come down to what happened on the day of the game.
We've got a little sprinkle overhead and Larry Gomes Stadium. What do you think about the pitch conditions?
It's a good surface for football. I mean, if you can't play on this type of surface and this atmosphere, then you don't deserve to be playing football.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Given some of the conditions this year, Brent, obviously the pitch conditions are a big topic this year with the rain and, of course, some of the pitches that aren't really up to standard.
Yeah, and this is one that is up to standard. Both coaches mentioned the fact that it's a flat surface, it's quite wide, it's big, it's conducive to good football. And I think at the end of the day, this is the kind of surface that both teams would want to play on. I don't think necessarily it's an advantage to either or team. I think it is an advantage to good football. And I think that's what we see today. There's some good quality, as we can see. It's a shorter version Bermuda grass. It's a little bit very firm on it. It does look patchy from this view, but it's not that patchy in terms of undulated and bumps and movements within the field. It is very much flat, very, very good surface. It's very lucky that we got a little sprinkle in the rain, not too heavy to make it waterlogged, and that would make sure that the game is played at a good tempo, a high tempo. Passes will be zipping about, and I think we're in for a treat here today.
Enrique, what do you expect from this one today?
I expect, a good game of football. Both teams, they're two of the top teams in this league, and I expect a good game of football.
Well, good games of football can be found on the SportsMax app today. Download right now. Head over to the Google Play or the Apple App Store and download the SportsMax app today. When we come back around, Coca-Cola Intercall East Zone Final. Arima North Secondary take on Sour North Secondary here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Kickoff is up next.
Well, the stage is set. The picturesque Larry Gomes Stadium awaits us as San Juan North Secondary and Arima North Secondary clash in the finals of the East Zone Coca-Cola Intercall. The dream of every schoolboy from the time they lace up their football boots is to stand tall and ready in a final with a chance to win silverware. The cast is ready, the troops are set, and 90 minutes of exciting football awaits us. Hello everybody, my name is James Saunders, and I'm joined by former TNT defender Brent Sancho as we break down this East Zone final. The fans, they're here, flag in hand, and ready for action. Larry Gomes Stadium, of course, are named after the famous West Indies cricketer Larry Gomes, and has hosted so many grand occasions, this one being another one of them, nestled in the Malabar region, just south of the borough of Arima. Well, speaking of Arima, well, their fans are here in the blue. Never won a national title, but they have won this title before, one East Zone Intercol title, and they'll be hoping to add another stripe to their belt. A look at their Warriors. They've only lost 3 matches since 2019 in open play. And, well, they would hope that their record extends with yet another win. Darian Marfan just to the end of the bench there with the frilly hair, third from left. He will start on the bench, and worrying signs perhaps for Arima, still suffering with an injury. Well, San won secondary Intercol title back in 2006. And those guys, well, some of them would have been there as fans, and they would be hoping to see yet another generation add yet another title to the storied cabinet. As for him, though, well, the neutrals always deliberating. Though the green might indicate that he might be representing San Juan secondary. But just a second, we will introduce you to the cast and crew. And right on spot, here comes the teams as they make their way out into the grand arena where they will battle to see who will pick up their first piece of silverware. Nathan Kwashi, one of the mainstays of San Juan, and that man at the back, the number 10. Well, no introduction needed. And, well, no introduction needed for this person as well. Marie Louis Gonzalez leading an entourage that includes the Planning and Development Minister, Penelope Beckles, who is also the Member of Parliament for Arima. And, of course, Ainsley Cato, the brand's area manager of Coca-Cola, who is the title sponsor of this competition. Ashing will lead his boys in the introductions. San Juan will wait their turn. And what a moment for these guys as, of course, they meet with the dignitaries. It's all smiles at the moment. It'll be anything but for the next 90 minutes or so in just a few moments. San Juan secondary. Catered just to the east or further west in the East Zone. They've come to Arima to stamp their authority over the boys in blue. Brent Sancho is alongside me, and Brent, it's a wonderful fixture in the making. What are the keys?
I think first and foremost for both teams, it's an important game. For San Juan North secondary, James, it's the fact that they did not win the coveted trophy, Premiership trophy, that they would look at us as some sort of redemption. And for Arima, as you mentioned, not winning this East Intercol title for quite some time, it will be a good time for them to start writing their name on the trophy. In terms of keys, I think for San Juan North secondary, it's important that they find ways to get the ball to their main men, Lyndell Sween and Nathan Kwashi, in dangerous areas. And of course, for Arima North secondary, it's really about containing those two and making sure you're well organized.
Well, time to introduce you to the referees. Andrew Samuel, one of the young officials making his name, will stand in the middle with the whistle. He will be assisted by Darren Archibald and Melissa Nicholas, of course, our sister of the former West Indies women's captain, Marissa Aguilera. Fourth official will be Akil Weeks. Well, they say a picture paints 1,000 words. Well, I'd like to see you transcribe that as we look at San Juan North secondary. all smiles at the beginning. And I'm sure you'll be happy for the introduction. And, well, many of the names need no introduction. Joshua Ferguson, Joshua Lewis will marshal the back. Lyndall Sween and Nathan Quashie. All eyes will be them. JDL Joseph is back in the lineup, and he will be an integral part, while Jaheim Danclair will be expected to bang home goals at the top. Jerry Moe is on the bench.
Well, look for Lewis, the captain, to lead the back four, and Quashie to play an advanced role of Jace Charles and Rogers. And, of course, Lyndall Sween will lead the San Juan North secondary attack.
I mentioned that they were only beaten 3 times since 2019, twice against San Juan secondary, and Isaiah Diaz, his job critical in goal for them. No, of course, Marfan in the lineup, but Ashing and Oliveri, national and 15 talent, will be expected to provide some quality, while Stapleton has banged in 9 league goals.
Well, as mentioned, the back two of the middle two of O'Brien and Defoe, to make sure to solidify things there in the middle of the park, and of course Stapleton up front, who will be the man responsible for putting the ball in the back of the net for Arima North secondary.
Well, the grass is green, the sky is blue, and we are ready to bring the action to you. East Zone Finals here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Maybe divine intervention will be necessary. Both teams relying on the intervention from above, while the officials, well, certainly making their way. Of course, you would have noticed Derek King, the former Arima player and the national assistant coach, as part of the greeting party. Which of these teams will take the East Zone title? Time will tell. Ashing, Jamal Ashing, certainly one of the players to watch. Premiership experience for him with Queen's Park in the Premier League Tier 2. And he will be expected to use his pace and trickery on the wings to get behind.
On a feast of expectation, San Juan North. And this man here in the picture, huge expectation, has brought in experience at the top level, playing for W Connection. And now with San Juan North secondary, certainly have brought a tremendous amount of ability to the San Juan North team. And one of the reasons, James, why I felt they have certainly underachieved this year, because we all know what they were capable of. They led the league for quite a long time, eventually finishing 3rd.
Well, Stapleton is ready to get the show on the road as the East Zone Coca-Cola Intercall final is live here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Good time to welcome all the folks tuned in on the SportsMax app and across the Caribbean on the channel. As well, Joseph could be in early if he can keep it in. He's done really well. This one flighted in the area, does find the head of Danclair. Just couldn't direct his effort on target, and well, just like that, the alarm bells from the opening whistle. Certainly one of the men expected to lead the San Juan attack. Did miss out in the semi-finals, was part of a warm-up party on the starting 11, but that was scratched moments before kickoff. But all fit and ready. Here's this man, Lyndall Sween. Quashie. This will be Joseph's interception. Oh, can he do enough to keep it in? And well, quite awkward looking clearance, and San Juan will keep possession and will play quickly. Stand clear. Joseph hustled out of possession. Lyndall Sweeney's got space, he's got time to operate Quashie. Arima struggling to cope with the early pressing of the boys in green.
Yeah, I did wonder the tempo that San Juan North would set coming into this game, and although it's very early, there's certainly an intention and the way and purpose that they want to play. And they have been all over Arima North so far.
Oh, this is going to be tossed long inside the area. Well, could be acrobatic, and Kwashi almost wrapped his boot around it quite spectacularly. What an opening that would have been.
Talk about an audacious attempt on goal.
Well, Ferguson will have a long chase here, one that he will win. It's Joshua Lewis. Well, almost deceived by the bouncing ball there. Ball fall to Kent Guy. Lewis. Oh, nobody's ball really, and goalkeeper Tiaz happy to hold on. They're a team that rarely concedes goals. Arima North secondary, just 10 conceded compared to San Juan's 14 in the league campaign.
Well, it's a long throw-in. At best, no one in Arima North wanted to attack it. Kwashi certainly did. And that would have been a spectacular opening if that had found itself into the back of the net. They've really been front foot football so far from San Juan North.
There was a sprinkling of rain just before kickoff on a lush green surface here. Should provide a nice avenue for slick passing. Rima's coach seemed to think it might favor his team, but at the moment they're forced to defend as Chase Charles' pass is cut out. And it's well won back by San Juan, who are quite aggressive early on. Haven't really been able to break the lines as the San Juan bench looks on eagerly, waiting for their turn. Stapleton, ashing. Oh, that's what he does well, ashing. Almost was able to get it into Stapleton. It's well broken up. Henry. Well, they're looking for fluidity and couldn't find it that time. Wayne Shepherd, of course, full of experience, the head coach of Arima North Secondary. Spent some time in Taiwan, turned to the team last season. Well, just poked out of range from him. Henry will get it back to the boys in blue. Christopher. Appeals for handball. Not conceded, and it will be San Juan's throw. You can tell by Jerry Moore's expression, he's not a happy camper. He saw it going the other way as Arima is gifted with possession. O'Brien's throws, it's good. Have a second attempt, O'Brien. Well, maybe thoughts of grandeur here, deflected and might win a corner for Arima.
Well, they're certainly trying to find their way, Arima North Secondary. San Juan North Secondary started this game at quite a neck-breaking pace. And Arima North now starting to find their way. It's been disjointed, the game so far, by both teams. And certainly they're hoping that from a set play, they can maybe steal a lead on San Juan North.
Look to flight this into the area, and they're well held by Xavier Haynes.
Yeah, good, very good hands.
Well, Lendl Sween could be away. He's gotten past one. Almost got past the other, but Oliveri, the crucial interception. He's 15 years old, Oliveri. Part of a national youth setup.
Yeah, that's good, sound goalkeeping there. So important when you're playing these sorts of games, James, and a final, as your goalkeeper comes out and have one or two good moments very, very early. one such moment is being successful at claiming a cross ball. Gives the defenders confidence, people around him confidence, and it gives the team a lift.
Guy's show is long, booted away by Arima. Oh, it's been wonderful, these two guys. This one in particular, Oliveri, started this competition as a 14-year-old. Recently turned 15, but he's certainly been a mainstay of the Arima team. Ashing. He's done well. Well, almost fell asleep at the wheel for a second, and the flag went up. I'm not sure. It did come from Arima. And, well, Andrew Samuel will try to understand what just took place. Play will continue now. Oliveri, long pass is cut off. Defoe. Lost it in a bad area there, O'Brien. Dancler's touch it just a tad heavy. The crowd just starting to build here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Smattering of support for both teams. It's been very solid in goal this season. And you'll have to be solid again with this trio lining up.
Yeah, and there's no doubt in my mind that this is going to be a shot on goal. You just have to pick which one of the three. There's three young men that certainly have the confidence to have a strike from this distance.
Well, Squashy is down clear, and well, that's a good save in the end. Good hands.
And he needed it. It's a wet surface. Not necessarily a tremendous amount of power, but certainly enough to find its way into the back of the net. It's good hands. I wondered for a second, James, if he should have punched it, but kept hold of it, and which was important. Goalkeeper Diaz.
Well, this could be promising. It's Critchlow. It's chased by Tesai Lewis. It's done well, Critchlow, to keep it alive. Gets help from O'Brien. Henry. Finally combining now Arima North secondary as Stapleton gets involved. It's Critchlow. Well, this could be very, very promising and just too long for Ashing in the end. Couldn't keep it in. Will be a goal kick.
Yeah. I think Ashings know that maybe he should have gotten onto this one. It's a crossover there. Defender reacted slowly, and Ashing just mistimed his run. So never really gave him the opportunity to control the ball. It's all about timing and making sure you arrive in the box at the right time, and Ashing was a couple of seconds off there.
There's been half chances on both ends of the field. Well, Henry will have to be careful here. And finally, Oliveri getting the critical touch. Chase Charles. Joseph. And just poked away from him by Henry. Well, there we go. Some good old sound effects to add to the entertainment here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Joseph, hassled. Sween gets Kent Guy involved. Will find supports out wide. And, well, that will be an Arima throw. Started with Rogers out left for San Juan, facing Morrison, who started the semi-final. Looking for Critchlow, and well read by Desai Lewis. Not been overawed by the occasion, Arima North. Of course, the last time these teams met, San Juan were 1-0 winners. And prior to that as well, lost in penalty kicks to San Juan North last season.
It's always been a really tight fixture. That's dangerous. That is dangerous. Obviously, his hands was not in a position for a referee to judge to be handball. But it's always been a tight affair, and it's always conjure up moments in the recent fixture, a game that we showed on our cameras. San Juan North started quickly, as we have another look here at the infringement and Kwashi sandwich. And James, the last time these two teams met, it was tight, and it was an early goal from San Juan North secondary that eventually turned out to be the winner. But as mentioned in the build-up, Coach Shepard talked about the way they played in the second half for Arima North, and he's hoping that they can do that throughout this game for 90 minutes. Well, they've not conceded early, so I'm sure he's going to be happy.
Scattered mouse at the moment. Who's going to be which? Well, that might be decided later on. At the moment, it's all square. Squashy. Clever ball looking for Joseph. Just out of his reach, really. Stapleton is the intended target. He's won it well and finds Ashing. And now they connect. Heavy touch from O'Brien, but he does well to keep it. And lashing just straight offside. And to what was promising forward movement. As I mentioned, no national titles for Arima Secondary. Although it's a team that has produced some of the finest players we've seen at the secondary school level. I'll talk about some of them in a bit. San Juan Secondary, the last time they would have tasted success, have to go all the way back to 2006. They were intercall winners, and 2007 where they were league champions. Not sure many of these players would have been born around that time. Take that man, for example, Lyndall Sween.
That's a poor header.
Well, not the most convincing clearance as well.
Well, they've won everything in the air that's been sent their way, the Arima North secondary defense. And they look, as per usual, very solid defensively. But you do wonder with the slick surface, you're already seeing, James, that the ball is coming through quite quickly on this slick Larry Gomes surface. We had a little bit of a sprinkling of rain leading up to this fixture.
Here's Joshua Ferguson.
Yeah, they won it.
Yeah, well defended. Stapleton, he's been starved of service rather. And And this time he gives possession back to San Juan. In fact, it'll be Arima's ball. San Juan did get the final touch. Lindell Sween turned 17 this year. Means that most likely he would have been born the same year San Juan last tasted national success. Certainly would be a dream for him if they can go all the way this season. A season that they might feel hard done to have missed out on after a promising early start. Well, here's Joshua Ferguson. He's got 10 green shirts in the area. Couldn't find any of them, but Joseph can latch on here. We'll have to hurry. Well, certainly not making the task easy as Lindell Sween gets involved. So too Rogers. Finally, Arima find a way to get it clear. Approaching the 20-minute mark and no goals yet. Although you might argue that San Juan has had the better looks. Arima, they've stood solid. Don't forget as well, you can capture all of the action via the SportsMax app. Download it today, get it on Google Play and at the Apple App Store. And you can watch all of the action in the SSFL as well as the ISA schoolboy football. Download the SportsMax app today. Kwashi's been quiet the early part of this fixture. And this will go from goalkeeper to goalkeeper. Squashy. Looking for Dan Clare. Well cut out by Henry. This could be anybody's ball. Joseph will attempt. And it's won by Henry. O'Brien gets it away. And, wow, Ashing. Not really timing it well. Thought for a second he might have been away. Another man who's been quiet today, the captain for Arima North. Well, you know who hasn't been quiet? Those guys. He'll have to hurry. He's lost it in a bad area. And Joseph could be away here. Lindell Sween just lost his footing. And the opportunity as well, but it is a goal kick.
Well, I think a lot of fans in green rose to their feet in anticipation. Rolled across the screen there, his non-kicking foot given away. So that didn't allow him to get proper connection on that shot. A let off there for Arima North Secondary. A little bit of a disappointment for San Juan North Secondary. This game coming to life with the drums.
Well, here's Dan Clare. He was searching. Eventually, a green shirt gets involved. Rogers, Joseph, can't find a good angle. Kent Guy. Bit of clever footing. Can he find a green shirt in the area? Sween is waiting. Did get a touch, not decisive enough. And the flag might have been up as well. Well, the best seat in the house, best vantage point at least. Xavier Haynes, the goalkeeper for Arima North. There's Desai Lewis. Well, Sween is a sneaky fellow. He's just snuck in behind the defender. And this time O'Brien is aware to the danger. But Kwashi can get his footing. It's Christopher taking no chances. Maybe Rogers can. 1 versus 1 against Oliver. And well, it's very good in 1v1 situations, the 15-year-old. Hasn't really had much saves to make, Diaz, but he certainly has been busy. That's away by Ashing. Christopher, and Ashing could be away now. Well, he's gone past his man. Couldn't find the outlet pass.
It was a handball by Lewis. He's actually lucky not to go into the book for that because his intentions were very clear. That was to stop Ashing from proceeding past him. Seen a lot of players, James, slipping and not being able to hold their footing on this surface so far.
Just ran into trouble and was almost fortunate to get it back. But here's Sween, got lots of work ahead of him. And that's well done by O'Brien. They've dealt well with the threat of both Sween and Kwashi, the Arima North team.
Yeah, I think they have, but on the flip side, James, they really haven't offered much going forward. And that's because they've focused on getting so many numbers behind the football that when they do win it, they look a bit short up front. I think in transition, I'm very sure Coach Shepard would want to see more bodies applying themselves to get forward. That came with some venom.
Almost got lucky, Lyndall Sween. That's all you need. He did get a goal in the semi-finals by a deflection. As Ben Sancho always says, you can't win the lottery if you don't purchase a ticket. It's filling up. Arima Larry Gomes Stadium. O'Brien. Gomez. Oliveri. They'll have to try again. Well, they'll have to win it first. Here's Kwashi. He's got Rogers with him. Rogers! Ball palmed away by Diaz. And this time, a lot more comfortable with the save.
I just wondered for a second there if Kwashi's progress was stopped illegally. Let's have another look at it here. He's driving towards the box. It's a fair tackle. It looks like he got the ball first and a lot of the man.
Critchlow. It's a long chase for Christopher and one that he will not win. Joshua Ferguson,
yeah, that's a poor decision. He's very lucky to bail himself out. Should have just gone back to goalkeeper Hayes.
Kwashi. Sween.
Need to pass it. It was on. That's late. That's late and it's silly. And he's going to get booked for it.
Well, he will get a greeting card of the yellow variety for his naughty behavior, Lyndall Sween.
It was a tough challenge, meaty, I don't think malicious. It's a striker's challenge. But I'm not too convinced, James, that it was a bookable offence. It's confirmation of that yellow card.
Never really had his eyes on it, Lindell Sween. Went in for it, but he just took his eyes off, caught the man. Oh, one wonders, oh, will that impact his play so early? But it is a final, and but you do expect some intensity.
Well, there's a purpose, and both teams have showed that for most of the 27+ minutes that we've seen so far. It doesn't necessarily have the quality that you would hope for, as it's a bit of a nervy, scrappy type of affair so far. No team really stringing together passes. A lot of those sorts of situations. You just think if there is a goal in this game, it's going to come off maybe an error or moment of brilliance. Because it's one of those games, very, very tense. Look how many blue shirts are behind the ball. That's good work by Guy.
Couldn't shut the needle, but he does get some luck, and Rogers can get in behind. Oliveri was there yet again. He's proving a hard man to beat Oliveri. Might have been fouled as well. I must say good evening to all of the folks locked in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, viewing via the SportsMax app as well as the SportsMax channel. Oh, this could be promising. Ashen is in behind. And a chance here! Whoa! How close was that? He knows how close it came.
It's a top save by Haynes and goal. Haynes just made sure that he got his right claw onto it. Christopher coming in, crashing his effort. So have another look at it there. Good work by Ashen, gets it across. Look at Christopher, line it up. First time shot, good shot, good save by Haynes, making sure that he turns it around the post. That's good goalkeeping.
Well, they might have another chance. Oh, this time it's cleared away by Sween. In fact, Joseph was the man getting the decisive touch. And again, to win it back, but he's lost it. And this time, the right decision. Wrong execution, as Arima will pile on more pressure. Sween. Rogers to Guy. And Dan Clare will be second to Oliveri. They're just trading possession now at the moment as Oliveri gets another decisive touch.
Yeah, it's a bit helter-skelter out there. It's the team really has commanded the football and commanded possession. It's a lot of easy turnovers, and it's led to a very disrupted game. I think both coaches, James, will be disappointed in that fact. They just haven't settled offensively. So a lot of effort and energy being exerted, but it's just not been the finals that is littered with quality.
Well, here's a familiar face. Denzel Theobald, former teammate of Brent on the Trinidad and Tobago World Cup squad. And also part of the TTFA's Elite Development Youth Program. Well, everybody knows this man's capability from this sort of distance. Well, one just wonders what he's saying to them. Andrew Samuel. Two-man wall, the protection of choice for Diaz. A Sween. And, well, made it look a lot difficult. More difficult than it really was, though. He'd say he had it under control. Critchlow, heavy touch. And Stapleton will get involved yet again. Tries to find Defoe. And they'll try again. Critchlow. Oh, this time Stapleton, not on the same wavelength as the tricky winger. And O'Brien's throw, fine Ashing. Oh, had to get past Joshua Ferguson first. It didn't. And as we pass the half-hour mark, what does those numbers tell you?
Well, it's been a scrappy game that it's been void of any real fluidity. 53% San Juan North, 51% Arima North in the pass completion range, and in the possession it's been 50-50. And that sounds about right. No team really carving open any genuine goal-scoring opportunities. What we've seen is a lot of huffing and puffing. And sometimes in these sorts of situations, James, teams tend to let their nerves get the better of them, and players are not as ready to put their foot on the ball and try to string together a couple passes. It's almost like nobody wants to make a mistake.
Well, the pause is because Joshua Ferguson was down receiving some treatment. They're not down though, they're on their feet for the most part. Oh, that was close. And Desai Lewis is taking no chances. Will be an Arima throw.
Well, that's a second corner now that's caused a bit of trouble for San Juan North. And they'll be hoping that Arima North doesn't get too many of those, because it looks it makes them a little bit uneasy. Another long service.
Well, this could fall anywhere. The flag is up. And again, they look uncomfortable. Well, the players will have some rain for company as the dark clouds from the northern range have crept a bit southwards towards the Larry Gomes Stadium. Chase Charles. Lewis. The San Juan throw. No goals yet. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Only as far as Sween. Well, he's out-muscled his two markers, but didn't do enough to keep it, as Ashing and Stapleton will go, but this time will run all the way into touch. It's just been a game where the final ball seemed to be lacking for both these teams. Well, he's having a jig. It's all part of the integral atmosphere. Drums and the festivities in the VIP guest room. Enjoying every bit of it. Oh, look at Ashing go. He's been an isolated figure, although he has tried.
Yeah, he has, and Guy is a solid defender. Doesn't give you much change. And in that instance, he didn't. The rain is starting to really come down now here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Players are drenched. Hasn't really impacted the outfield yet. I haven't seen any puddles of water, sorry. But it certainly makes this surface a lot slicker as it goes along.
San Juan will have yet another throw. Oh, it's really pouring at the moment. Well, they take their time to get bodies forward. 8 green shirts in the area. 10 blue shirts defending. And it's the green shirts and Lyndall Sween who will get the final touch. But you can just see players really wiping their eyes at the moment. Visibility, well, that has significantly decreased. This is long. Yes, Chase Charles just losing his connection with Kwashi, who wrestles to win back possession. And, well, possession lost almost as quickly as it was won. You enjoyed playing in the rain, Brent?
I loved playing in the rain. It's one of those occasions where you know it's going to allow you to get an extension on that slide tackle. And for the most part, it cools the place down. But it is challenging for the young man. You're right, they finding visibility very difficult.
Well, could be something spectacular.
This could be trouble.
Oh, tricky. False alarm over the top. Christopher thought he had the measurement of Xavier Haynes in goal for a second. Just over 5 minutes of regular time remaining. And first goal remains elusive in this fixture. Well, the boys from Boog Malachis find a way. The Dow Dynamos Arima secondary, they've held firm so far. Well, Dan Clare was there, but Tifu got the decisive touch. But look at this. Wow. I tell you what, Diaz had to scramble across. And it narrowly came close to breaking the deadlock.
Yeah. Another opportunity again. Kwashi, a spectacular one. Sanwa North going for their second spectacular opportunity. They seem to be dreaming up some things, James.
Critchlow wasn't quick enough, but it's with Arima and Henry. Well, the old wrong adjust. Nobody lives there. But also the pass seemed to lack the intended adjust as well. Diaz will have to be quick. He wasn't. And, well, in the end, was able to hold on. Rogers is almost sneaking in.
He's had some interesting moments. Diaz, the goalkeeper, didn't quite seem to track that ball the way he should have. And tell you what, James, I wasn't far off. He looks up grimacing, but it could have been a lot worse for him.
Oh, speaking about grimacing, Henry has added his name to the list of players grimacing. A late challenge on him, requiring some attention. Oh, there. All dry and all filled with anticipation. It's been a frustrating afternoon for San Juan's attacking trident. Scored 37 goals this season in the league competition. Yet to register any today. Well, there's a flag up. And Andrew Samuel will allow the natural progression of play to continue. Well, here's space for Lindell Sween. Well, doesn't need much space, does he? That's his way of finding space. Tessai Lewis was aiming for Dan Clare. They'll have to contend with a throw. Stapleton. Can the Dial Dynamos get something before the halftime whistle? Ashing losing that battle with Kent Guy. Here's Defoe. He's got Ashing for support. He's got Stapleton on the inside. It's too long for any of them. Critchlow. Don't forget, catch the action on the SportsMax app today. Get it on Google Play, download from the Apple Store, and you can capture all of the action on SportsMax. Replays, highlights, analysis, get it all by downloading the SportsMax app.
It's the first time in any of the zonal finals that we've done where it's had a heavy downpour and the field is not drenched and soaking and soggy. Tells you how firm the pitch is out there.
Chase Charles.
Gonna take a shot. Has to.
Well, oh, what a touch. Fist of steel from Diaz.
And he had to be alert because once Chase Charles got this in his stride, gets all this and slight deflection. Once it hits the surface, it shoots off, and Diaz had to make sure that he had his body, his hands, and the ability to lock his wrists to turn it around the post.
Did find a green shirt, headed away from goal though. Here's the captain, Joshua Lewis. Well, they're all queuing up, and Diaz was decisive with the punched effort. Halfway through the 1 minute of time added to the first half. Still no goals, and Osano ensuring that it might just remain like that. Or maybe not. If Dan Clare can do something about it. It's Quashie. Nathan Quashie. Will be a San Juan throw. Perhaps the last bit of action to end the first half. Well, the Kent guy. Well, haven't dealt with the danger well. Joseph can have a bite at the cherry. Well, had to get past his man first, he didn't. And it will be all of the action for the first 45 minutes. 45 minutes where the Dial Dynamos Arima will think that they've stood firm. For the boys in green, San Juan secondary might be a tad frustrating. Very offensive lineup have been denied time and again, particularly by that man Diaz. And at the end of 45 here at the Larry Gomes Stadium, it's San Juan 0, Arima North 0. We take a pause and we come back with more. Welcome back to the Larry Gomes Stadium. It's the zonal final, East Zone final. San Juan North Secondary versus Arima North Secondary. Goalless after 45 minutes. Let's dig up some of the highlights and see some of the action that we might have missed. And it started with San Juan on the offensive early. Nathan Kwashi, well, always one for the spectacular. This time not finding the net. Later on, from the free kick, look at that. Well held in the end from Diaz. Joseph. And Sween, you normally expect him to hit the target from there. Not that time. Was industrious though, Sween. Never stopped him from attempting, and Diaz, as unconventional as it looked, he was able to keep it out. And then Ashing on the other end, opening doors, maybe the best chance for Arima, but well kept out by Xavier and Haynes. Then there was more from Sween, providing the service. And look at this for acrobatics. Just wide of the mark. And just before the end of the 45, another save, a fine save to keep Chase Charles out. as the score remains goalless at the end of the first half. What story does the numbers tell us? Well, certainly tells us that San Juan North were the aggressor when it comes to shots on target, though. None for Arima North secondary. And in terms of possession, San Juan North were able to dominate that category as well. The scoreline at halftime, goalless between Arima North and San Juan North secondary. I've got three guys standing by to discuss all of the action. And Brent Sancho, Hans de Veens, and Enrique Rupert.
Thank you very much, James. Guys, it almost looks like a Diaz Sween highlight reel. The highlights. I don't know if you all would agree.
Yeah, it's fair enough to say the game has gone as we expected it to. We talked about it. It's been a cagey affair so far. Both teams looking very nervy in their approach, but you're right. The likes of Sween and Diaz are trying to find ways to carve that opening. But give credit where credit is due. I think Arima North secondary defended very well. We talked about it. They have to keep Sween and Nathan quiet, and they've been able to do that relatively so.
Yeah. Enrique, your take on it?
Yeah, I think Arima has been pretty organized so far, and I think if they continue to do that, they will find more and more opportunities. They have looked good in transition at some points of time, and, you know, it's just for one good ball from one of the defenders or the midfielders, and they will get one.
Brent, could you predict goalless first half for this one?
I think so. We saw shades of that the last time these two teams met in Arima Velodrome in the Premiership game. Of course, San Juan North secondary scoring quite early, but it was a cagey event then as well. Yeah. Arima North secondary is a team that stifled their opponents. If they've done that here today for the most part, this is knockout football, gentlemen, and that's what you want to do. You don't concede. You give yourself every opportunity to progress into the next round, and I think that's where Arima North secondary is looking at. If we don't score, just make sure we keep that black door closed.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the conditions, gentlemen. The rain came down a little heavy coming down to the end of the second half. How is it affecting the gameplay?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's been challenging for the players. You know, they're young. Then not all the time they are accustomed playing in the rain. So you can see it in the football game, and it's going to be more difficult if the rain continues to fall.
From a San Juan North perspective, Brent, what needs to happen to win this game?
Look, it's simple. They need to get Nathan and Sween more involved in the football game. They've kind of floated in and out. You're looking at Kwashi trying to find different positions. He was out on the left. He came back central. They need to find a way to get balls into them on the half turn, running at defenders. That's what they're strong at. That's what they're good at. If they can do that, because they look quite solid defensively, don't look trouble in that aspect. Where they're struggling is the build-up area in the middle of the park, trying to get the ball forward to these two. That's where they've had a little bit of the trouble. If they can clean up on that, they can give themselves an opportunity.
I think, too, they should try to keep it a little more simple. You know, we've seen a lot of acrobatic stuff. I think if they keep it a lot more simple, they will find a lot more success.
Well, Enrique, on to you. Do you think Arima North is going to draw from Marfan? What do you think is going to happen in this second half, and what is needed for them to win?
I do think Arima North has a stronger bench of the benches, and I think Marfan and a couple other players on Arima North's bench can make the difference. You know, they are very positive, attacking-minded players, and it's all up to them to come on the pitch and do what they do best.
Well, it's the Coca-Cola Intercall East Zone Final. Arima North Secondary 0, San Juan North Secondary 0. We want to remind you all, download the SportsMax app today and stay up to date with all of the Coca-Cola Intercall or the It's a Schoolboy football action. Head over to the Google Play or the Apple App Store and download. When we come back, second half action, East Zone, Coca-Cola East Zone, Coca-Cola Intercall East Zone Final action.
Well, we're back here with the East Zone Intercall Finals. San Juan North Secondary, Arima North Secondary. No goals scored in the first half. 45 more minutes to play. And, well, story of who will walk away with their first title of the season, well, that is waiting to be written. Frustrating first half for the boys in green, San Juan North. Got an attacking trident that have scored more than most. And those guys, they certainly know it, giving them full support. They are, however, playing in Arima. And that man in particular, Diaz, has only been beaten 10 times this season. And, well, it's always a difficult customer. Getting past the boys in blue, who have been defensively solid for the most part. Only losing 3 matches since 2019. And that is a run that has seen them come all the way from the 3rd division back to the Premier Division. Maybe some divine help and some drums and some atmosphere can get the Dial Dynamos their 2nd East Zone Intercall title. Well, if it's one thing they're known for, it's rhythm. Of course, Bungie Garland being a former student of Arima North Secondary.
Well, they've come to life, haven't they, the fans? It's been a rainy Tuesday afternoon, and fans probably had their varying challenges that come with the weather. And that being said, now they've settled in and part of this occasion. It's a big half of football for both programs. Talked about keeping Kwashi and Sween quiet. I would say they did that job, James. I think for Arima North is, can they now go on and nick a goal? I think that's the question. While trying to keep, of course, Sween and Kwashi quiet, because I can't see 90 minutes of football go by and both of those are subdued for the entire time.
Arima North, 10 goals, as I mentioned, conceded this season. 6 goals scored in the build-up in the Coca-Cola Intercall for them so far. Of course, last match that they won by 3-0 against Trinity College East in the semi-final. And before that, a 3-1 win over Holy Cross College. San Juan North Secondary, though, well, they've been a lot more blockbuster when it comes to their attacking approach. 13 goals scored in their last 2 intercall matches. It's a contrast of styles. Defensive team versus one known for their attacking figure. Well, what will the second half tell us? We'll have to wait to find out. Here's O'Brien. It's a long ball. It's a wall one. Kwashi. Well, Sween could get involved, but there was a flag up. And again, another frustrated look from the San Juan attack. No real movement on either bench. Just one player sent to warm up for Arima so far. No sign, though, of Marfan. Did suffer with an illness early this week. And, well, kept him on the bench as a precaution.
I always wonder about that when coaches don't start a player that's not 100% fit. I have always been of the belief that if you're fit enough to be in the bench, you're fit enough to start. Now, I'm okay with accepting the conversation that it may be something specific he wants out of him, but just think that if a player is on the bench, he should be fit to play from minute 1. Doesn't always happen. But it'd be interesting to see if he does come on and what type of condition he'll be in as we look at the San Juan North rhythm section and flag waving section as well, all in one.
Well, you'll have to watch the bonks here. He's dealt with it, although not convincingly. And then, of course, Oliveri's acrobatic type clearance, earning him a foul. Got two players with national youth experience at the back, Arima North Secondary, Oliveri and Kristen Gomez. No, this guy, he's got Premier League experience. Jamal Ashing, he's been muscled out by Kent Guy, who's really been a rock so far in defense. Well, not that time, commentator's curse. Stapleton. Oh, that's a poor pass. San Juan let off the hook. Who will come off the bench, perhaps to provide the spark of inspiration that is needed. Defoe, Christopher, ball change of direction, running into traffic. Here's O'Brien, played with St. Augustine's secondary last season. Well, not the most convincing clearance. Can San Juan capitalize? Lindell Sween looking for support, finds Kwashi. It's not the best pass that you will see from Kwashi. And ball defended in the end from Gomez. Here's Jahashua. Tesai Lewis. Heavy touch from Joseph. Gives it back to the boys in blue. Well, might be time to make a change for Arima North Secondary. Mark Thomas is the man that's gearing up to come in. Although, coach at the opposite end of the bench seems to just delay his decision a bit as Joshua Ferguson tosses one into the area. Well, this could be promising. Away by Oliveri.
Yeah, and he had to be perfect, and he was. It's great defending there. Was recipient of a man of the match for the encounter against Trinity College East, Oliveri. Continuing in that form.
Joseph charged down and, oh
boy.
It's fair to say they haven't been convincing defensively.
There's a little bit of a wobble. The Arima North secondary defensive armor. Can this be the moment for San Juan North there? Trying to turn the screws. They started the game quickly and now they started this half quickly as well.
Can they find a green shirt? Diaz is the one getting the decisive punch. Sweden will try again. And this time it does find the head of Henry. Taking no chances. Certainly knocking on the door now, San Juan Secondary. And away again by the Arima defense. No finding a way past. Here's Defoe. It's won by Chase Charles. Stapleton, Christopher combining well. Well, it's a one-man show, but he finally meets his match. But it's with the boys in blue. It's Defoe. And away by the captain, Joshua Lewis. Maybe now we might see that change that mentioned was in the works. The fourth official just out of your picture, telling Mark Thomas he'll have to wait. Here's Ashing. Oh, that's clever. It's found a way through, but they give it away back to San Juan North Secondary. Chase Charles gets Rogers involved. He's got Sween ahead of him. And might just have drifted in an offside position. He wanted that one earlier. Goal. Handball might have been the call. Oh, there will be the substitution. Mark Thomas, who, fun fact, made his Premier League debut against San Juan Secondary the last time these teams met in the league. He will make his way on, replacing Critchlow. Almost didn't make the team this year. Had to convince his parents to allow him to come back to school this season, according to the Arima coach. But he has a chance now to walk away with a title. And, well, he almost got his first touch there as well. Already played almost 10 minutes in the second half, and well, goals have been nowhere in sight. Throw will be given back to the boys in blue. Oh, it's a long walk back to the bench for Critchlow. Just been replaced by Mark Thomas. I tell you what, if you're a Arima fan, good news is, just out of your frame, Darren Marfan has been sent to warm up. Just sense the urgency for a more attacking threat from Arima. Or maybe they can find it here. They've got Defoe and Gomez in attendance. Well, he's gone for goal, hasn't he? Just too high in the end. Just to the...
It's good power. Looked like never was able to get it down. It was going up, but that dip required to cause some trouble in Haynes' goal didn't happen. That's not a bad pass, maybe a little bit too much. Seen a lot of heavy passes and heavy touches throughout the game. The surface is quite slick. It's a fast surface, and I don't think the players have really come to terms with it. Certainly not being able to get the ball under control as quickly as they should. We've seen a lot of this, a lot of heavy touches and stretching.
Oh, here's the substitute. In fact, that was Rogers. I just saw Two contrasting defenders, Oliver and Kent Guy, both of which have been solid contenders for the best players on the field in their respective teams. Sky had to be quick, and he was. Dan Clare is running into traffic. Rogers couldn't find anybody in a green shirt. Stapleton. Kwashi wants it, but Rogers attempting to do it all on his own. Did win a free kick though. Well, if it's one man that can do it on his own, it's this man in your frame. Lindell Sween will attempt to conjure up something for San Juan. And away by Oliver. He's been everywhere defensively. As has Kent Guy. Stapleton found getting it wrong. Joshua Lewis a difficult task. Oh, look at that. Can they open up space? Charged down by Sween. But they've done well. Jamal Ashing. Flag is down. Did get the final touch. Goal kick. Ball. Joseph. Done a sprint. Oh, had to be good, the goalkeeper Diaz, and he was.
Yeah, good bit of work here. One thing on his mind. Good instep, good velocity in it. That's a good stop by Diaz. I actually saw the US goalkeeper, James, got beaten from a similar distance from Rian Moore in an international Nations League game here in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, they'll come knocking again. Well, that's too long.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because seemingly the pendulum has swung to San Juan Northway. They've had a good bit of pressure applied, and this is the sign that most Arima North fans wanted to see.
More changes, and well, that chair tells you everything. Marfan replacing Defoe. Certainly been one of their most instrumental players when it comes to attacking play. An essential midfielder. So they've already drawn 2 cards. Arima North secondary, 2 changes. Mark Thomas and Darian Marfan is the players who have been introduced as attempt to go for more attacking shape. Can Ashing deliver the service? He does. Well blocked and well held. Well, he can't make a mistake here, Oliver. And he did really well to keep out Lindell Sween at his own expense.
Yeah, there was a collective sigh of relief on the Arima North side of things. Oliver was calling for It's goalkeeper Diaz to come for it, and goalkeeper Diaz didn't hear that call. He stayed on his line. Ball bounced over. You have to deal with it as a defender. You can't make a decision up or make the decision for a goalkeeper. You have to make that decision unless the goalkeeper gives you a shout. Diaz clearly didn't give him a shout, so it was all down to him to make that decision, and he did. Unfortunately, it looked like it came with a bit of pain.
Oh, referee having a day off. Referee, of course, in white. And with some San Juan supporters as well. Always a referee being neutral. Wearing them white in the midst of the scores of green shirts around him. Seems Oliver is fit to continue. Hasn't returned to the field yet. Just seeing him at the bottom of your screen. Mark Thomas. Oh, what a run. Has he been tripped up? He has. It's a yellow card. This time, JDL Joseph, the recipient of that yellow card. Second yellow card for San Juan secondary, of course. Lyndell Sween receiving the first one. It's been a quiet day for Ethan Quashie.
And Sween, for that matter.
Can Ashing provide some inspiration? Should be keeper's ball. Or goal kick, for that matter. Tell you what, Brent, the light is quickly fading here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. And of course, you might be seeing that for yourself, looking on at the SportsMax app. You get it today on Google Play, or you can download it from the Apple App Store. SportsMax app, where you can capture all of the action. No foul. Ball be a San Juan throw.
Another crunching tackle there on Sween, and that's one of the reasons why he's had a quiet game. They've not made it easy for him.
Well, maybe now we can create something. Again, Andrew Samuels says no. It's right on spot, to be fair.
Yeah, they're starting to ask questions now, San Juan North. You can just feel it raising the tempo a bit.
Handball.
Yeah, James. He comes into, what's a sandwich there? Well, I've seen those given. He certainly was, he was impeded in his progress. That leg that was stuck in there. But it's been difficult for the official to see. Still, certainly the San Juan fans are calling for the foul.
Well, he's calling for the goalkeeper, Diaz, and he did eventually help out with the clearance. Certainly been the busier of the goalkeepers. Well past the hour mark, and no goals yet. Marfan loses possession. Here's Desai Lewis. Dan Clare was the target. And Joseph tripped up. It's a foul. San Juan's ball. Of course, Joseph was himself the recipient of a yellow card earlier on, as you can see from your top left. This time on the opposite end of the challenge. Searching for his first title as head coach of Arima North, Wayne Shepherd. Sween. Marfan gets it away and the Dynamos are away. Eventually crowded out by the green jerseys of San Juan. Oh, here goes Rogers. And was impeded.
Yeah, and I just think he needs to release the ball a bit earlier, Rogers. It's a second time that Danclay has made that run down the channel and decide to go it alone. There's one thing Arima North secondary is good at, is crowding players out. Once you start advancing towards their top of the 18-yard box, they send an awful lot of blue tops your way.
Kwashi's ball is searching.
Oh.
Diaz holds on the second attempt.
He doesn't like to do it the easy way, does he, Diaz? Takes the long road to success.
Well, the last time that Arima were in the Premier Division would have been 2014 in its inaugural season, where they were instantly demoted. In fact, they fell all the way down to the senior grade competition, which is level 3 of the secondary schools football league. Had to work their way back up. And well, what a remarkable job they have done doing just that. All the way back up to the Premiership this season. Here's Jamal Ashing. Chase Charles looking for company. Finds Kwashi. Well, it's quite dark here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Of course, cloudy conditions contributing significantly to that. Swung by the men in blue. Well, almost turned out into a genius ball for Ashing. Too straight though. Haynes was very aware. Well, he's always aware, Sween. But he's met his match today. This man, Oliveri. And away by Arima. Yet again, they're weathering the storm pretty well. Thomas try and battle for this one, and he wins that battle. Mark Thomas. Well, they could come away here with Ashing. He's got Kent Guy for company. Just got enough on that guy to nick it away from him. I think we're already seeing our top 2 contenders a man of the match at the moment. Old Kent Guy on Fasano North. Oliveri for Arima. Another change. This time it'll be Malachi Noriega. And he will replace Stefano Christopher for that matter. Well, the dancing feet getting past his man. Not this time, but that's a mistake from Kent Guy. Ashing could capitalize, but Joshua Lewis taking no chances. It's great clouds everywhere you look around this ground. And, well, the rain is back. No lights, of course, at this facility. It'll be interesting to see the next few minutes.
Well, especially if it goes to the infamous penalty kicks. It's really starting at... I don't think I'd ever say I've seen fog in Trinidad, but it's starting to look that way.
Usually associated with more temperate climate and early morning as the flag goes up. Did have a match last season, semi-finals, I believe. Did go down to penalty kicks in really dark conditions. Well, San was certainly thinking of rolling the dice. Haven't made much changes. And might just do so now. So it's Matthias Charles who will be summoned, and he will replace Rogers, Elijah Rogers. Oh, just out of your frame, Elijah Rogers collapsed immediately after coming off the field. He's remained on the ground. Maybe cramp, maybe exhaustion. In the meantime, though, Arima will continue to play. Is there still something in regulation time? Of course, yeah, last evening we did see the Central Zone semi-finals decided by 1 goal. Chicanos North retaining their title, beating Miracle Ministries. I'll tell you what, just out of your frame, he's really struggling. No struggles there to clear that danger. Struggle I was referring to, of course, was Elijah Rogers, who was just substituted. It did take a while for him to get up. He collapsed just after coming off the halfway line. And, well, again, we look at those numbers. And again, it's nothing that's impressive, really. Now another man down. This time, Jehoshua Ferguson. Just looking at a spot of bother. They've really been drenched, the players. It's fair to say, though, in terms of defensive composure, Arima have been really good. However, this final really hasn't lived up to its top billing.
You would think with the conditions being the way it is and the way Arima North also applies themselves to games, that was always going to be cagey and tight, and very pragmatic approach by the Dial Dynamos. And at the end of the day, it just did not allow San Juan North Secondary any opportunity to get into it.
There's Oliveri. We'll use Diaz for support. He can't pass Desai Lewis. Ten and a half minutes is all that remains of this East Zone final, regulation time at least. This match will go to penalties if it remains as is. Oh, how about that for a challenge? Woke everybody up.
These are the meaty types of challenges I like. Making sure Gomez, that progression was stopped with immediate effect. Good tackle, tracked all the way back. Put in a shift today.
Yeah, it's part of the National Under-15 team in August. Him and Oliveri. Done well. And again, it's another battle, easily won by Oliveri. Joshua Lewis. San Juan Stro. Arima North won their last East Intercol title 12 years ago. Most players on the field will have been 5 years old or under. The last time they lifted silverware in this competition. It's Gomez. Oh, he's done really well for himself. Was almost able to pierce the San Juan rear guard. So Kent Guido will receive some treatment. They're bunkered down, protecting themselves from the conditions.
Good bit of trickery there. Slip and slide.
Just a bit of cramp stepping in, heavy conditions underfoot. And of course the Arima MP, Penelope Beckles, getting some expert advice from Derek Kim, another former national player, national assistant coach, and Arima native. O'Brien. Gomez! Well, the goalkeeper had to be brave, he was. It's not over yet. That's a foul. It will be another free kick for Arima.
Yeah, brave goalkeeping there, Stapleton bearing down. I'm surprised he wasn't adjudged of a foul there, Stapleton, because the contact by Haynes was first. Stapleton came in after.
All the clock is ticking down, and with every passing second comes the weight of expectation on the young shoulders of these players. They've worked hard, haven't been able to separate themselves just yet. Maybe some help from the crowd. They know exactly what they want. The question is, can the boys in blue deliver? Well, not this time. Should be easy for Joshua Lewis to deal with.
Well, we talked about the fact that it was a slick surface. Now it's a damp, very, very damp surface where we're starting to see signs of water settling. And players now are really struggling to keep their footing. That's a
case in point.
Meaty challenge there. As we look at the surface, it's starting to get a bit dig up. And the thing is, James, it was slick before, but now it's soggy and it's wet, and it's certainly a challenge for players. That's a good corner in.
Should be a challenge for Haynes. Dealt with the danger well. They've got 4.5 minutes to find something. Darian Marfan came close here.
Yeah, it's a good corner. Haynes read it all the way. Got a hand on it. They're starting to turn the screws a bit here. This Arima North team. He would do well to keep that in.
Just underscores his confidence this match, Oliveri. Well, his defensive partner is down, Gomez.
Yeah, this is what afternoons in the wet conditions provide. Oliveri maximizing.
Who will be crowned East Zone Intercol champions. Jury's still out at the moment. O'Brien looking to find a way through is Ashing. He's got Kent Guy to deal with. It's on his job. Still with O'Brien. And this time he's been tripped up.
Yeah, but I think Guy would have felt that he was shoved in the back before that. Another look at it here. A good bit of skill and improvisation there. Lewis had one thing in his mind, and that was to stop his opponent.
If anybody can provide some bit of inspiration, Darian Marfan certainly can. But Haynes, again.
He's been brave, and you want your goalkeeper to be brave in these instances. He's put his body on his line. on the line for his team. Hopefully it doesn't mean the end of the game for him. But he had to be brave. Another delicious delivery by Marfan. No green shirt in sight, really. So Haynes had to do it all on his own.
Had to deal with the effects of that challenge from Ashing as well.
Well, James, it seems like we're destined to head to the penalty spots. Of course, Naparima College was booted out of the tournament through the penalty route. Losing to Presentation College. Very cruel way to go. I'm very sure San Juan North do not want to take things down to the penalty situation because it's wet. You'd have to imagine, James, planting your foot to take a spot kick would be a challenge. It's a good run.
Just muscled out by Gomez.
He has been flawless.
Is there still a sting in the tail in this match? It's a foul. San Juan's ball. Well, the Coca-Cola Intercall continues tomorrow at the Tobago final. Speyside High against Bishops. Should be a very interesting contest. And on Thursday, North Zone final, St. Anthony's versus QRC. And the final of the zonal finals will commence on Friday with St. Benedict's College, the hotly contested favorites coming up against Presentation. Well, San Juan put their name in. Challenge, all eyes on the referee. Sween. Well, he's got room, but not the touch required to give him a decent chance at goal. Well, he just felt that might have been it. Sween in. And what a crucial touch that was. And then this. Needed a good touch. Was not to be had. Ability Hazel, what a tackle. Well, 90 minutes are up. It will be the luck of the draw. Penalty shootouts that will decide the East Zone finals. What a performance from him. Oliveri. Not to his usual standards, Nathan Kwashi. But this man, Diaz, has been sensational, Isaiah Diaz. Certainly would back himself in a shootout. Saw him win one shootout last season. Lost another against San Juan Secondary. So for yet a second consecutive season, the battle between these teams will be decided by a penalty shootout.
Yeah, and I think from a San Juan North perspective, he just didn't show up the way that we're used to seeing. Certainly, the conditions did have its impact. But their top boys in Sween and Kwashi had a quiet day at the office today, well, albeit it was difficult for them as it would have provided the way Arima North did not allow them, James, that opportunity. The question is, can Arima North now go on to clinch it? Because these kids have never, well, these kids have never experienced this sort of situation in terms of winning East Intercol title. And that pressure, James, I wonder if that pressure would be too much.
Well, they will deliberate on what and where, who will kick. Let's look back at the 90 minutes of action. Got us to this point. Did start with drier conditions and some spectacular efforts. And then look at this. Joseph, all held by Diaz. Joseph again would start this one. Lindell Sween, though, lost his footing and the opportunity. Sween kept quiet for much of the match. But of course, he did have his moments where he caused disruptions. Diaz with the save. And then Ashing. Service. And look at that from Stapleton. And a save from Xavier Haynes. More from Sween. Washes ball back into the area, forcing all sorts of acrobatics. And then Chase Charles, we saw him score from there in the semi-finals, not this time. Second half, Arima started to come to the party offensively. Xavier Haynes needed to be brave whenever he was called upon. Marfan came on as a second half substitute, almost snuck one in past Haynes. But 90 minutes could not find a winner, and we go to penalties. What's on the mind of these players in this situation?
Well, it has to be positive, James. It's all about thinking and picturing and playing out the penalty kick in your mind, being assured of yourself, picking the spot and executing. And of course, it's not the easiest because the pressure is big. When you walk up to that spot, you feel all alone when you're there.
Well, they've got the 12th man for support. 12th woman as well. Some big waving flags. The captains all decide the direction. Joshua Lewis for San Juan Secondary. And Ashing for Arima North. Certainly would be a fairy tale for Arima. Coming all the way from the senior grade division and getting to East Zone finals. If they can go one step further, certainly would add to their fairy tale run so far. Last season, it was also San Juan who interrupted their run on penalty kicks. They'd hope this time the coin of luck falls in their favor. So far, in terms of the decision, seems that Arima are the ones who will decide who goes first. If one that bit of luck, it needs significantly more. Those guys defensively have done their job. It's time to score goals. Who has it in them? Of course, who can keep them out? Certainly as confident as they come, Xavier Haynes. Comes to firepower, well, not lacking. Look at that lineup. All with a history of scoring lots of goals. Pressure. Can they beat that man? Isaiah Diaz, one of the best goalkeepers at the secondary school level. O'Brien will have the first kick. to get the penalty shootout starting. The most experienced player for Arima North Secondary, having played in the Premiership last season with St. Augustine. And it is his experience that will be required from 12 yards out.
Well, there's a lot going through the mind now. And as I mentioned, James, you just have to keep playing it over in your head, that you walk up to that spot and bang it into the corner that you choose. Big moment for this young man.
Oh, he's got his back turned. Element of surprise, perhaps. As Teron O'Brien to put Arima ahead. He does.
It's a good kick. It's very assured as to where he wanted to put this. Little stutter step on the run-up, and then he drives straight with the inside of the foot and guides it down to the keeper left. Keeper Haynes going to his right. 1-0 to Arima North.
Well, it will be Chase Charles to follow up. And well, he somehow does. Doesn't matter how they go in. Once they go in, that's 1-1.
Certainly not the best penalty kick you would see here today. But sometimes it doesn't matter. Chase Charles never really got it into the corner, but the pace of the surface certainly beat Diaz. He couldn't get down on time. He's a big kid. And he would have had to be tremendously quick to get down in time. 1-1.
Oh, this man, Stapleton, has led the scoring for Arima so far. Oh, what he does in the corner, been kept out. Talk about a touch of gold.
Well, I'm not sure why the linesman is raising his flag. Either he's suggesting that it went in, or he's suggesting that Haynes moved early. But I'm not sure what it is. It looks like a retake. I think it's the first one that he believes that he moved too early. That's harsh. Or he wasn't on his line, probably. This will give us a better look. He wasn't on his line. He was at least 2 or so feet ahead of the line. It's the right call.
Well, he has a second bite. Stapleton. This time he delivers. Led the scoring for Arima this season. And given a second bite at the cherry, he puts them ahead 2-1.
Well, if you can't do it in the first time, you do it in the second time. And that's a good penalty by Stapleton. Compared to the first where it was safe, he switched his corner. Same, definitely confidence shining through.
Well, this is the man most have come to see, Lindell Sween. Will he deliver? He does. That's what he does. 2-2.
Yeah, and Diaz really had no chance there. The pace of it, no nonsense approach by Sween. Just ran up to it and laced it with his left foot as hard as he can, and all the way in the corner. Diaz did go for it. And that big right hand stretched out, but not when the ball is placed with that pace.
He's been good defensively, this man Gomez. Can he do it on the offensive end? Question answered. One of the players with national experience, and well, it showed.
Yeah, solid game for the 90 minutes. An even better penalty. Just leans away from it and guides it with his right foot. Nathan Kwashi next.
Scored some of the best goals of the season. Just needs to score today. Oh, look at that confidence. It's all level, 3-3.
Nothing less than what you would expect from that young man. Nathan Kwashi. He made sure that he tucked it away from Diaz. Decided to go a little bit higher than his teammates did before. And Diaz had no chance. Well,
it's another defender, Akil Henry. Can he score?
Yes, he can.
I'll talk about confidence for a man at the back.
Well, I was a little bit worried about the short run-up and whether or not he could generate enough power with that run-up. And boy, oh boy, did he prove me wrong. He was very sure where he wanted to put this, and he had a bit of laces in it. Confident young man, good strike, Haynes, no chance. It's a big kick now.
Another defender, Desai Lewis, up against Diaz. Oh, he's done it. They're not going to miss, are they? All level yet again.
Yeah, confident kick. Diaz going to his knees. Completely defeated by that one. Wasn't necessarily placed all the way in the corner, but nevertheless, I think the body position tricked Diaz.
Well, a big moment needs a big player. Can Jamal Ashing be that star for Arima? Wow, the best of the lot. Saved it for last. The pressure now on San Juan secondary.
Yeah, the captain making sure it's gone high. Making sure Haynes goes the other way. We've seen some good penalties here this afternoon.
Kent Guy. Can he be the guy to keep San Juan alive? Oh, he's done it.
I tell you what, James. I tell you what. Diaz went late. I think if he had probably punched instead of trying to get his hand behind it. Let's take another look at it here. It's not the most convincing kick. Diaz was rightly placed. Just couldn't get the right piece of body parts behind it. Well,
Darian Marfan will begin the sudden death part of the penalty. Well, he's as cool as a polar bear.
yeah.
That's 6-5. Vantage back with Arima.
Cool as you like. Rolled it into that corner. Marfan. Not a big run-up because he knows what he wants to do. This is a big moment for San Juan North.
It's come close on several occasions. Jahashua Ferguson. Oh, somehow, someway, that has managed to cross the goal line.
Wow.
And I tell you what, I'm not sure what Jahashua means, but I tell you what, it means lucky at the moment. He's a lucky guy.
Yeah, he is very, very, very lucky. Because that should have been saved. And I think Diaz believed it was saved. As we have another look at it here, he pushes it. Looks like it hits his knee, Diaz. Gets down there in time and just couldn't keep it out. You just wonder, will that come back to haunt Arima North?
Arima. Well, will they ever not score? Stephen Oliveri, defensively solid, offensively sure.
That's a solid penalty there by Oliveri. It's a quick hop. Placed it with a lot of power. Haynes again going the wrong way. Now, can Diaz come up with a save? It's coming down to the players that didn't put their hands up to take the penalties. So There's a lot of doubt with these penalty takers that are coming up.
Shaheem Danclair has led the line for San Juan. They'll need him to do it again.
That's a top penalty. I tell you what, I was a little bit worried about the run-up, James, as I'm sure we'll see in the replay. It's kind of a windy run-up, but once he got into stride, sorted his feet out and placed it. Goalkeeper Diaz sent the wrong way. Couldn't get there. Oh, this is where it gets the nervous time.
So again, Arima will be forced to put their hands up. Ability Hazel. Does he have the ability to keep them afloat? Question answered.
Yeah, short run up, right down the middle. Haynes beaten. Just getting to, could feel the tension, James, in and around.
I tell you what, can somebody crack JDL Joseph? He looks confident though. And he is confident. High and away, San Juan. They fight on.
And normally, when the penalty kicks go down to these numbers, you start seeing kicks that are not of the best quality. But this is different here this afternoon. That's a good kick. Goalkeeper Diaz again with no chance.
Substitute, Malachi Noriega, has one job: to keep Arima alive. He's done his job. He's done it well.
Again, another penalty that maybe Haynes felt he could have gotten. But he just couldn't get his hands behind the ball. It's another substitute, James.
The last chance of the game to put it away for San Juan. Didn't take advantage.
Well, that's strange. They've made a switch and Haynes is taking a kick. Well, not sure about that, James, because at some point he's going to have to kick if Haynes scores.
It's Haynes versus Diaz. Wow, any cooler he'd be a snow cone.
Well, isn't that a smirk of confidence? Haynes here. Look at that for a penalty kick. As cool as you like. Now, can he turn into full mode hero?
Another substitute, Mark Thomas. One can imagine the weight of expectation.
Wow.
With nothing.
Wow.
Well, they had to convince him to come back to school this year to play. And boy, they needed him.
It's a good finish. Excellent finish. Haynes given no chance.
Well, finally, Matthias Charles would be allowed to step up. The air of expectation here, it's heavy. Well, it was heavier for the goalkeeper. He was beaten.
Well, it's almost in slow motion, that one. Diaz went for it. Didn't necessarily look like it had the power to beat him, but eventually it went by him. So this here is a huge moment in the game.
Well, it's his turn to get a one-up on his opposite number. Diaz! Oh, he's been saved! Haynes getting the decisive touch. All eyes on the linesman, though. They're still having discussion, but it's counted.
Yeah, and I think this one he did stay on his line. It was a poor kick by Diaz. He needs to get himself together because he has a kick. He can't redeem himself. He needs to get his focus back. As he came into this one, now this is to win it.
It is the captain. Will he lead by example and lead San Juan to the title? Oh, he doesn't! Couldn't find the gap between the 11-yard sticks, and Diaz feels a sense of redemption. They'll have to go again.
Well, they go back from the start, and it's still in sudden death mode. And I tell you, James, what excitement here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Just thought for a second there that Lewis's kick would have trickled into the net, and the upright had something else to say to it.
He's beaten them once.
Can he beat him twice?
O'Brien versus Haynes. And O'Brien, he's won that contest.
Looked like it went under the reach of Haynes.
Chase Charles, he's been here before. Question is, can he do it again? Certainly quite dark here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Well, he saw exactly where his target was.
I tell you what, we've seen a lot of penalties here this afternoon. I don't think you'll see anything better than that. That's what you call pinpoint to the corner. And I think the question that probably many that's tuned in here is asking is, do you go back to the same corner that you originally went to? And I would suggest yes. You don't change.
Saved once, was redeemed, converted. Can he do it again? He does. The battle is intensifying. And again, it will be Sween.
Question is, will he change his corner?
Wow.
No, he doesn't.
Instant replay, perhaps. Just as effective.
Yeah, it's a lot of pace generated on this kick. And it just swept by.
I just wonder at this point how well the goalkeepers are seeing. Of course, goalkeeper Diaz, he does wear spectacles. Saw him last season wearing the goggles. Just wonder how well.
Wonder, yeah, and it's quite dark here. Of course, on your screens it doesn't look that way, but the light is fading and fading rapidly here.
Tell you what, a cricket match wouldn't be played in this sort of light conditions. Perhaps he can end it all here. Gomez. Longer run up this time. Same result.
That's a top penalty. Kisses it off the post. Just the way he designed it, Gomez. Now it's back to Nathan Kwashi again.
Tell you from here, even I'm struggling to see now. To wonder how well the goalkeepers can see how long this will continue. He's perhaps wearing contact lens at the moment, Diaz. How well can he see? It's Nathan Kwashi. Keep his team alive. Oh, with some help.
Well, this was close from Nathan. Just didn't have the power, and really Diaz should have been keeping that out of the net. Instead, he pushed it into the side and inside of the net. James, that was a chance, really was. Should have saved it. He was there. Who will break their nerve?
Well, I've lost count what number we're at. Zakil Henry, though. So he hasn't lost count. He's added to it. The question is, Brent, how long will this continue with fading light conditions?
Yeah, as we take another look at this kick, confidence exhaled. And the fading light certainly is at a disadvantage for the goalkeepers. And you're right, James, if they had to go through another round, where would this go?
This is Desai Lewis. His namesake, a World Cup winner. Can he be an East Zone Intercol winner? Well, he's grateful.
Well, you can't say that Diaz hasn't had his opportunity. But really, he should have stopped that one. The second kick.
Yes, Jamal Ashing again to restart the cycle, and it continues.
And with that, Arima takes the lead in the 16th attempt.
Another good penalty there by the captain, Ashen. Give Haynes no chance whatsoever.
Ken Guy, though, has an opportunity to give his team a chance, staying in the competition. Will he be that guy? He won't! Arima North are East Zone Intercol winners. A Cinderella story. Relegated in their first season in 2014, dropping to the senior grade division, climbing unbeaten into the Premiership, and advancing past San Juan North Secondary to win the championship. What a story. Well, listen to the raw emotions that you're hearing here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Not even bad light could stop them. They were better. They are champions. San Juan North have been good in spurts this season, but alas, they couldn't cross the final hurdle. What a moment. Their second ever East Zone title. For Chase Charles and company, the emotions will be raw. It certainly is a learning experience, especially at this level. Well, he's a winner. Marfan. He's also a winner, Oliveri, O'Brien and company. The tongue of Arima is alive tonight. He's done his job in goal. He's been good. And a sense of redemption. Here at the Larry Gomes Stadium, it is Arima North champions over San Juan, secondary on penalties.